Hey guys, welcome back. Scott here with a new beer dissection video. What I have today is from New Holland Brewing Company, their Dragon's Milk. Okay, Imperial Stout. This one's at 11%. It's aged in bourbon barrels, so it's probably in the same category as the famous Goose Island Bourbon County Stout, even though that's usually a little higher percentage alcohol. But it's still sitting in Imperial Stout territory. There's a lot of other beers out there that are either using bourbon barrels, whiskey barrels. They're all typically oak barrels. Even your craft brewers, a lot of them now are buying oak barrels that either had bourbon there or whiskey and putting their stouts and porters in. I thought I just had one that was more like a brown ale. I can't remember the name of it, but I think I did a review on this channel on it. So again, I like spirits in some moderation. I don't mind whiskey at times, gin, vodka, but I couldn't say I'm an expert in distinguishing between all bourbon whiskeys. So if there's a beer that I know was aged in oak, I can pick up. A lot of times with aged in oak, you'll get obviously that woodsy, oaky character, almost as if you had like a Cabernet Sauvignon aged in oak or a Chardonnay aged in oak. But you'll also sometimes get vanilla character and some tannins to it also, as well as the character of what was what was being put in the oak. So this one's bourbon, which I believe is made from corn, could be mistaken, and or whiskey barrels. So it is a big thing these days. A lot of people love it. For me, I enjoy it. I don't know if I enjoy them typically any more than a lot of other styles of beer or regular like Old Rasputin Imperial Stout, which isn't aged in oak. But we'll see. I mean, this is the first time I'm having this one. And I know a lot of times they use Dragon's Milk for high-strength stouts. You'll see this term used before. But this is their rendition from New Holland Brewing Company in Holland, Michigan, technically. Okay? And that's it. So there's really nothing else other than it being barrel-aged in bourbon barrels. It was bottled December of 23, or actually January, March, April of 23, which, again, being this strong alcoholic strength, I'm not really worried about that particular age. I'm filming this in January of 24. So again, with a level this high, and this came cold, so I'm hoping they aged it. I'm not really worried too much about oxidation for this style of beer as I would with my IPAs and things like that. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Just have my typical tulip pint glass. You probably can't see yet on camera. I've had a lot of breakages over the last 6 months. My nice Teku glass that you've seen me use broke in my sink the other day, so that was sad, but not, worst things in the world that can happen to you. But so let's pour this out and take a look at it. So this is really the first time I've had this one. Again, I can't say I haven't had whiskey or bourbon barrel aged, especially the Goose Island one before, but this particular one I haven't had. All right, so let's take a look at this. All right, so first of all, we got a nice medium brown head, maybe about a ½ inch, 3/4 of an inch. Looks like it's sustaining itself pretty nicely. Kind of get that effect of kind of the scuma or the crema on an espresso from a nice espresso machine. And the bubbles are pretty tight. And that's it. On one side, it looks a little more like soda bubbles, but that may have been my pour. I'm getting the whiff of the bourbon already coming off of the beer. And I just opened it up 2 seconds ago. The color on this is a dark brown. I know it may look black. I mean, if someone wanted to argue with me and say it was black, but even at the bottom, I can kind of see through it a little bit. It's kind of a lighter brown there. So again, it is relatively clear, even though it's a dark brown to black beer. Again, I'm leaning more towards dark brown because, again, I can kind of see through the bottom of the glass to the other side. There's light piercing through. But anyway, typical for this style. So let's take a sniff of the aroma. Ooh, yeah. You definitely get hit immediately with the bourbon, okay? You get that oaky, aromatic too, knowing that it was aged in some type of barrel. Chocolate, roast, dark fruit flavor, aromas on the nose, okay, which is pretty standard. The roast is kind of like a medium roasted coffee, chocolate character, kind of like rum-soaked raisin, like dark fruit aromatics. Pretty nice though. But again, of course, the bourbon character that you're getting there. But again, it does smell very similar. I don't think it's as pungent smelling, which is in a way better than the Goose Island one. The Goose Island one I always find a little bit harsher, but we'll see, how it is on the taste buds here. Okay, but very nice. You get the oak character, vanilla, roast, like I said, dark fruit, kind of rum-soaked raisin, even though we're not using rum, they're using bourbon, maybe bourbon-soaked raisins. But pretty typical of most Imperial stouts, plus this one's being added in the character of putting it in oak and the bourbon county. So, not the bourbon county, but the bourbon barrels. Okay. So anyway, guys, cheers, prost. Let's take a sip of this. You notice I didn't say anything about the hops. Hops are not going to be that important to this. So there may have been a light herbal component, but that's about it. First thing I'm getting is I'm kind of getting that roast, medium coffee kind of roast, little chocolate, even kind of like toffee, like even a caramelized, toffee, caramel. Bitterness. It's pretty pronounced, which you would expect with something this high alcoholic strength. With the there is some residual sweetness here too, so you do want to balance it a little bit. So it's actually quite good. I'm just starting to get a little bit of warmth, but to be honest with you, I get less warmth with this than the Bourbon County Stout, which is actually good. I don't really like a lot of intense heat, solvency. This is actually drinking a little bit smoother than I expected. Even though that the Bourbon County Stout is, I think it's like 15 to 20% alcohol. This is at 11, but really nice. So again, no really astringency. The body is definitely full-bodied. Carbonation is kind of medium. On the aftertaste, you're kind of left with the chocolate, coffee roast. I got to say too, is that it's not really strong with the bourbon. You do get the oakiness. Some highlights of vanilla. That's from the barrel. And again, every barrel is slightly different depending on how they roasted the barrel. And again, what was in there. This is bourbon. So you get the bourbon, but again, it's not over the top smacking you. It's a little bit more milder than some of those other bourbon-aged, whiskey barrel-aged stouts or porters that I've seen out there. It's actually quite nice. It's kind of drinking a little bit like Old Rasputin. Maybe the body isn't as strong. And of course, Old Rasputin is not barrel-aged unless they recently started doing that to their beer, since it has gained some popularity these days. I gotta say, it's really nice. Smooth. I'm not getting like that solvent character because of something really high in alcohol. I think this is very, very nicely well done stout, base stout, with a little bit of your oak and woods character within the vanilla and of course bourbon from the oak barrels. Really nice though. So grade wise, give it an A. I actually give it, I would say I'm enjoying this more than Goose Island's Bourbon County Stout, the big, the bottle that's like 15, 20% alcohol. Those sometimes just get there's almost a contest these days to boost up the alcoholic strength, and you sacrifice, I think, the overall enjoyability, drinkability of the beer. So overall enjoyability, drinkability, I'm going to give that A. I'm going to stick it at A because I think it is better than a bunch of other barrel-aged stouts and porters that I've had with whiskey and bourbon in them. It's well done beer. This is beer I would sit by the fire. If you're going to have it with food, you could probably get away with creme brulee, panna cotta, neutral canvas, dessert. Something with raspberries would be very nice with this because of the chocolate character, woodsy character, and the roast, like coffee roast to it. Anything with chocolate wouldn't be bad, but it just probably would be a little too, some people call it matchy-matchy, like just nothing fantastic about it. So anyway, guys, first time having New Holland Brewing Company's Dragon Milk Stout. Now, I'm presuming one thing I didn't mention is it says milk stout, milk bourbon barrel aged. So this is probably just a regular sweet stout, Imperial strength. They're probably using some lactose, which is adding to the mouthfeel. They don't say it on the bottle. I'm actually surprised because people who have lactose issues, they would have it written there because some people don't understand that milk stout, cream stout, uses lactose, which adds to the body. So give it that A. So their Imperial milk cream stout, Bourbon County. I keep saying Bourbon County. Bourbon oak barreled aged stout, really good, 11%. Better than most. I would buy this before I'd buy probably the Goose Island one. I think that one's, in my opinion, a little overrated, even though that's blasphemy for some of you guys that watch me. All right, guys. So anyway, cheers. Enjoy it. And I would check it out. And I actually didn't mention it. I have this served almost just above room temperature. Sorry, just below room temperature. And that's ideal for stouts like this. Or if you have it colder, taste it over the course of several minutes, maybe even 10 minutes, 15 minutes, because this is a sipper, and see how the beer changes in your glass as it warms. All right, guys, till the next beer dissection video, hopefully you got something out of that. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.